How buyers are using AI and Zillow against you. Hello, everybody. This is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Great topic today. AI is taking over the world, so let's talk about it more, right?
I don't know if that's the better topic or your trip to France to watch the soccer game.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun.
So the audience, just so you know, our Santiago is a trooper. He was traveling. He was traveling for a very quick trip to France. No less. France, Paris, France for a soccer game, and in 5 days. In 5 days. So you must be pretty jet lagged right now.
Well, I mean, it was a short time, so I didn't really get to adjust to the time over there. So I feel like maybe just a little tired, but not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too
Good.
bad. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, then let's get right into it. A killer topic, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I know I use AI a whole lot, and I think my generation specifically is beginning to implement AI like for everything, for lunch suggestions to workouts to do to uh, good ideas for the weekend or whatever it is. So and then now even homes like looking for homes, AI
yeah.
is a big tool that even I'll use myself to just be more informed about areas
Yeah.
and yeah, it's really taking over.
Which one is your favorite? Are you using Claude, Chat GPT, Gemini? What's that other one? Grok. Which one is your number one go to?
Well, I started using ChatGPT first. That was kind of like the introduction to AI, and I feel like a lot of people started using ChatGPT. Then I kind of moved over to Grok for a little bit because I don't know, I was just feeling like it was being a little bit better than ChatGPT. And then from Grok, I went to start using Claude more because I feel you can program it a whole lot better and sync it to emails, which is pretty crazy. Like link it to
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
emails, calendars, uh, a million other things, and I feel that's probably the best one out there right now.
Nice, nice. That's actually super cool to hear that that you're implementing all of them and using them in that capacity. So exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Nice. Okay, so let's get to our topic of how buyers are using AI and Zillow against you, which basically is directed towards sellers when they want to sell. And what we're basically talking about is as a seller, you feel like your house is worth a certain amount of money, and then you put it out there and the buyer does not want to pay you the certain amount of money that you think your house deserves, because they are basically taking your house to AI of their choice, or they take your house to Zillow, and all of a sudden the number that they come up with is a number that AI has come up with, and it doesn't match the number that you want to get for
Yeah.
your property, and that can become a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in 2021, even though 2021 we did not have the AI the way that we have it now, but in 2021 that would not be a problem because we had multiple offers. Every house was there was so much demand for housing that that was not an issue. But in today's real estate market, even though the economy by itself is not in a recession, we can all agree that the real estate market is definitely in a recession. And in a recessionary market, if you are if you are a home seller, then you have to make particular attention to the buyers, to the demand, to what they want, and what they pay attention to make sure that you can maximize the profits that you want to make on your house, and you can sell the property at a number that would make you satisfied.
Hmm. Yeah.
So so the points that are important that the buyers are paying attention to is is and even though Zillow is not the only portal out there, but people rely heavily on Zestimates.
I would
So
say that's the most popular search engine for buyers and sellers out there. Zillow.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So Zestimates are important. Price history is important. Days on market are important, and also comparables are important.
Hmm.
Now, some of these, when we it's up to us agents to actually educate the market, educate the buyers, because, like for example, price history, right? Oh, let me see. They bought this house in such and such year for so much money, and that doesn't really mean anything because from the last time that the property was sold. It could be that the property has gotten a lot of updates. It could be that the property was sold under market value the last time. So a previous sales and it is up to us agents to basically explain all of this and say that just because a property was sold at a certain amount, that doesn't mean that you can expect the property to be sold at that number
Yeah.
the next time around that it sells. Um, but something like Zestimate, that is really, really important. And we really pay attention to that, right? We call it the noise of all the portals. So before we actually get there, we pull out all the noise so that we know exactly what the noise is, what the customer is, what the buyer is going to see out there on Realtor.com, on Zillow, on Homes.com, on Redfin, and on RPR, which is one of the resources for us, Realtors Property Resource, and also to pull out all the comparables so that we can see, how much the property is worth in the eyes of all the other portals, and how much the property is worth in our opinion based on the comparables that we pull out,
Yeah. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and let's see. One of those points, if the buyer gets a number on one of the portals and it doesn't match the number that the seller is asking for, then the
Hmm.
buyer is always thinking that they're overpaying,
Yeah.
right? So we have to basically make a lot of justification, either with comparables or with actual documentation in
Home
upgrades
improvement.
that were in home improvements that have happened in the home to make sure that that gets done there,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Another thing is the pricing that the AI gives a home, right? Um,
Which with even ourselves, we kind of now are starting to implement um, in our CMAs that we're doing, right? Using AI to strengthen or give us a better idea of what values out there.
and it's funny because I did a home valuation the other day, and just like you said, we pull all the numbers from all the portals, and then we also pull the numbers from ChatGPT, and we all pull the numbers from Claude. And there is a significant difference between ChatGPT's numbers and Claude's numbers as well. So even there, the valuation is not exactly the same. So you think that AI is the smartest out there in terms of analyzing everything. But even in that field, the two AIs do not come up with the same number, which again speaks to the fact that houses are very unique,
Hmm.
and you can't just a house is not like a cup where you get the same cup in all different stores, and they're and you would expect them to be the same price.
Yeah.
Houses are unique, property is unique, locations are unique, and pricing is different.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, but nevertheless, buyers are going to be looking at what the AI gives as a number, and then it's up to the seller and up to the seller's agent to be informed enough and to be articulate enough to justify the value, and in some instances fight the number that AI throws out or spits out.
Yeah. Hmm.
So. Price reductions. Price reductions are. Um, I have I have my opinions and about price reductions. I personally think in a market that we are like we are in a basically a softer market, you've got to price the property more aggressively. So, for example, if there's a certain market value to the property, even price it below that market value so that you still create the multiple offer situation. You still get the upper hand because you have more demand.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, is a stronger strategy right now. But let's say that you either did that and you still didn't get the traction that you needed, or that the seller was not comfortable with underpricing and they wanted to overprice,
Hmm.
and then the demand is not there, and then at that point, what do you do? If you have to sell, then you have to reduce the price to a number that would attract buyers. And um, and when you get to that point, um, there is strategies, and there is strategies that could work to your advantage or to your disadvantage. In my opinion, incremental price reductions are better than a whole price reduction. For example, uh, to to reduce by $10,000 once a week or once every 2 weeks is going to be more effective than reducing by $50,000 for, like, 2 months,
Yeah.
because that little incremental price reduction can give you the opportunity to market around that price reduction, to get more eyeballs on the property, to get more energy around the property, more activity around the property. And every time you have activity, you have energy, you have eyeballs, you increase your chances of getting offers.
Yeah. And then
So
I also think, and then when it's sitting for a long time with no action, let's say it's 30 days, then people are gonna start questioning what's wrong with the property.
exactly, which brings us to days on market, right?
Yeah.
Days on market are important because the longer a property stays on the market, the less buyers are willing to pay for the property. And sometimes the sellers have the mentality that, oh, I'm not in a hurry, I'll just wait. Well, but that's not how it works in the real estate market. The Once the property goes on the market, it's that white elephant that everybody now sees.
Hmm.
And the longer it stays, the more people will blame the property for having some issues and for not selling.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's on days on market. And now we get to motivation, right?
Hmm.
Motivation is also very important because you don't want the buyers to know why you're selling. A lot of the times when we list a property, the first thing that the buyer comes in, or the buyer's agent comes in, why are the sellers selling? Well, you know what? That is one of those points that we won't have to share with you. So I think as a buyer or as a buyer's agent, it's actually you have to understand the real reason why a seller is selling is confidential, and there's no reason why a seller or seller's agent would have to share that. Of course, we all have to abide by the rules and the laws. If there is if the there's hillside erosion and the house is falling into the canyon, well, of course, you'd have to disclose that.
Hmm.
But if the sellers are getting a divorce, that is not anything that the seller needs to share. That is the confidential information. It's the prerogative of the seller not to share. And because then the buyer is going to be put in a stronger position to take advantage of the seller's distress.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, um, comparisons side by side when you have so much information out there, right? And I actually saw an article where the buyer and the seller had agreed to a certain price, but
Yeah.
then the buyer decided to go to one of the AI portals, ask the portal's opinion, and the portal's opinion was, "Oh no, you're overpaying for the property," and they came out and canceled the deal.
Yeah. That's
So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
that's pretty crazy because, again, each property is unique, and you have to go with what the property offers, what you negotiated. Well, is this going to be the best deal for you at the time? And according to those premises rather than what the AI is saying.
Yeah.
But hey, if the buyer decides they're going to go to AI, AI's opinion is more valid than anything else. You gotta work with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and with AI, it's a lot tougher now because everyone's using it. So.
Everyone's using it. Exactly. Well, so on that note, the more informed as a seller you are, and the more data that you collect ahead of time, the better off you are, and the better outcome you can have. And of course, if the more you work with an agent that is more informed and collects more data ahead of time for you, the more the better off you are and the more successful outcome you're going to have.
Yeah, and that's a great point because when you're asking these AI and you're only asking it pretty straightforward questions, then when you have all the information that you now have, it's a whole lot. It can be a completely different answer.
I'm so glad that you're bringing that up. So basically, you're saying it's the prompting that's going to get you the answer that you may or may not want. So you cannot just take what you get from the AI as literal. You have to see how you prompted for it to give you the result that you have in front of you.
Correct. Yeah, because I mean the AI is
Absolutely.
not gonna know the improvements. It's not gonna know like you can make a full page essay worth of a prompt to describe about the property to
Yeah.
get a more accurate answer, and that would be completely different than just saying it. How much is my home worth?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Totally. Yeah, totally. I very much agree with you. And I think that is again comes down to us agents educating our clients, buyers and sellers to that fact. Make sure that they understand so that they don't take everything literal from what they get out of AI,
yeah,
and then base that as the factor in their decision making.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
All right, everybody. That is a very good conversation. Santi, welcome back. It's great to have you. And this conversation is a great conversation. And I'm so glad that we got to have it. And on that note, let's put ourselves out there in front of our audience. And audience, if you are trying to get a hold of me, there's my phone number. If you're trying to get a hold of Santiago, there's his phone number. And our website is at pemberleyrealty.com. And we also love to get a follow from you if you are seeing us on Instagram or on Facebook. So please give us a follow there. And of course, we want to be your go-to realtors here in San Diego or anywhere in the U.S. So reach out to us. We're happy to help and make it a great day, everyone.
And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Ah, that's right. Roxanne forgot. Thank you, Santi, remembering to mention that. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.